What's happening, Blades? First, you need to let me know if you can hear me or not. That's got to be first port of call, surely. Give us a nudge, give us a thumbs up or something, just let us know. Come on, Scott, I can rely on you, can't I? Somebody. Are we on? Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Come on, lads and lasses. Interesting, nothing yet. Do you know what? I'm just going to crack on. Oh, Michael, top man. Right, thank you. Thank you for that. It took me 45 seconds to realise I was recording. That's good. I'll know in future, so I won't have to keep doing that. But we're finally set up in a secure position at home. We've got all those things that we need. So welcome to the third and hopefully less hitchy, if that's a word. Less hitchy. We'll go with that. Ramble live. So I quite like doing these, not because it's a lot less effort than editing and cutting videos, just because it's interactive, and if I can, I'm going to try and get some sort of formula to how I read some of the comments and stuff like that, but we'll come to that as we cover some stuff, because have we got some stuff to cover? Wow. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that commented on my Eddie Calhoun video. It's something new that I thought were important that I did. And if you haven't seen it, basically it was my attempt, and that's all it was, attempt at a small tribute or more of an information piece really for younger fans. And I don't necessarily count myself in that, but fans who weren't around when Eddie was playing, and to help us understand a little bit more about what he means to the club and why he means so much to the older generations of Blades. So it was really interesting for me to find that out, and I've had some fantastic comments, so thank you everybody for that. But, well, there's loads to get through, but what about Bristol? I mean, Bristol City, I know they get balmy with that. We don't like Sheffield, so let's give them the full name, to be honest. So Bristol City, I thought this was going to be a really tricky game. I didn't think it was quite as tricky as Cardiff, if I'm honest, when it all panned out. But I saw it line up, and I'm probably like most of you, what is he doing? What is he doing? Why is Fleck starting over McAtee? Well, excuse me, I don't know whether all you caught the presser afterwards that were put to him, because obviously he makes the change at half. It was a shocking first half. He makes the change at half time. McAtee, the man in form, comes on at half time and makes a difference. And we're all set to come on and have a pop at him really for, look, it's a good result, but what are you doing? Well, they were in a protective boot apparently before game, or a couple of days before, so they were just being overcautious. The cynic in me says, I'd say that as well if I didn't play McAtee, but to be honest, it made no sense for him not to play McAtee, because obviously he's not going to be able to play this weekend. So yeah, we get the goal after a drab first half. We really turned it on second half. Brilliant bit of quality from Illiman, as we come to expect. And as I say, I think there's a danger of us just expecting that from him now. And then McAtee, man on fire, couple of touches, and it's side netting and goes in. Fantastic. Oh, Dempsey, I love that. Thank you, pal. Right, so brilliant result. And at that point, are we 4 points clear? I want to say 4 points clear, because that's why I originally set this video up as part of the title. But then that was pre-Luton and Borough playing last night. So I don't know if any of you were the same as me. At one point, I had a game on my phone, a game on iPad, and a game on telly, because I wanted to watch Luton. I'm not so bothered about Borough, but I turned it on and Hull scored, so I was buzzing with that. So I kept that on. And then obviously at half time, more than anything else, I wanted to watch QPR lose. Obviously they ended up drawing, which were a shame. But I mean, long and short of it, at one point both Luton and Borough were losing and I'm dancing. But turned out Borough obviously turned it round, as we now know, which we come to expect. Cameron Archer, who we've been banging on about on this channel before he went to Borough, he's the only reason, because I've nothing against Middlesbrough, but he's the only reason I don't want Borough to go up in the playoffs, because I want Cameron Archer. I think he should be our number one target. If he's not Billy Sharp, like-for-like replacement, I don't know what it is, but whether Villa will sell him is a different kettle of fish as well, to be fair. But so Borough go up and they confirm that go up in terms of result, confirm their place in playoffs as far as I believe, then they're certainly going to make it. They're back up into third because Reading went 1-up at home to Luton. I thought this would be a tricky game for him, and it proved to be. And then that was the main game I'm watching, Luton-Reading, because it's the only one that really has permutations to us. Andy Carroll puts them 1-0 up. And then Andy Carroll puts them 2-0 up. Brilliant. I'm up, I'm dancing. And then, hang on a second, Lino's waved. Andy Carroll's palmed it into goal rather than under God, rather than Edda. Gets his second yellow, he's off. So it's 1-0 Reading down to 10 men. That's on about an hour. So half an hour or whatever it was against one of the most informed sides in the league. They were always going to get through. It was just how long they could hold it and whether they could hold out for the point. And they did. They held out for a point, which is massive for us. Absolutely huge. So now, with 7 points clear, Luton can only get 9. I think Borough can only get 8. So we need one win does it for us. But the game on Monday, as we know, we're all aware, is Luton against Borough. So if they draw, I think we only need a point to be 100% sure. Because Luton can then only get 6 points. Our goal difference, if they draw, we're up, essentially. Because we'd have to lose all 4 games left. Luton would have to win both of theirs, and one of that is going to Blackburn. And I know that's not, it's not formidable, but it's not easy. But we'd have to lose all 4, and there'd have to be a 12-goal swing in and amongst those results. We could still lose all 4. They could win both their games, and we still go up if they draw on Monday. I'm not going to go into other connotations, because let's be right, we can start thinking about it now. Even the most negative of this is a question I want to pose really to comments. Does anybody still think we're not going to do it? Because, listen, you'll have heard from my nervous sort of projections, and if so-and-so does this, I'm talking about previous videos, then, it's going to affect United and so-and-so needs to win there. You've heard about me ridiculous purchases when I'm trying to sort of ease my nerves and stuff like that. I'm now convinced we're going up 99%, 95%, 90%. Is anybody still thinking it's Sheffield United? Surely not. Surely not now. I'd be amazed. Well, what a night West Brom will be. That's the thing you've got to say in it. That's wow. So that were this week. What an unbelievable. We've had a couple of brilliant game weeks, haven't we? With Huddersfield doing Middlesbrough, which sort of sparked it all off. We've just done our job. And I think when the dust settles, and I've been critical at times of Eke and others, because I think with this squad, we could be Burnley. And we could have been home and dry some time ago. That's the very most severe aspect of how I view it. But you have to say what a magnificent job he and the players have done in all the circumstances that we've faced. We've had an injury crisis. We've had a crisis in form, a huge wobble. We've had the embargo. We've had the takeover saga. We've had the worst bit about it for me, and I suppose this is a fair question to ask everybody. When you step back and you look at what's happening to our season, if we'd have said 4 games to go, you're going to need 1 win and you're up automatically, and you'll be in FA Cup semi-final against Man City, you'd think that is up there with just short at 2003 season, triple assault season, where we did 2 semis and a playoff final. You'd think brilliant. But, and on paper, it's fantastic in terms of results and progress and everything. But I haven't enjoyed it to the same level. And I don't know why it is. I can't pinpoint it. And the only logical conclusion I come to is that it's because we've been chased. And being chased is horrible, particularly when a team like Borough comes storming from nowhere. And at one point, they were a runaway train and it didn't look like they were going to stop. And for a long time, I've been saying, and I still, obviously now it's come to fruition, but this sort of had me teetering a little bit. We've no need to worry about Luton. They've just been consistently grinding as well, but being chased and being there to be shot at is awful. And the mentality that needs from players not to buckle. And they've sort of been talking about this throughout the season. Ecky's been saying, you know, we've got an experienced squad, or we've got lads with plenty of experience, and that'll be the difference. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you can go through it once and, you know, it's tough going, but ultimately it's hard not to lose your head. Well, it's proven right. And the mentality of some of this squad has shone through. So it's a huge credit to Ecky and the players. I have to eat a little bit of humble pie on Jack Robinson. I haven't changed my opinion overall. I still don't think the quality is there for the Premier League, but the endeavour, the character, the passion, the enthusiasm that he throws himself into everything that he does for United. I'm not a convert yet, but I can see why. Andy the Blade will tell you that he's always liked Robinson. Well, it's not true, because I was there at the beginning of the season when he was saying, no, why is he in the side? Same as I was, same as I still do sometimes, because I think Kieran Clark's a better player fundamentally. But it'll be interesting to see what your team is for Wembley, because I've tweaked mine a little bit. It's going to be an interesting one anyway, into whichever way we go. So just to change tack a little bit, before I'm going to dive into comment to end. So that's what Nick does. He's a professional, so I'm going to copy basically and see how it goes, and we'll work on formatting and stuff as we go through these. But I'd like to do these on a more regular basis. Obviously, my edited videos will stay because I enjoy the editing process, but I would like to continue with the interactive lives because people seem to like them and I enjoy doing them. And we will be getting people on. I've invited some of our Ramblers on, but I don't know whether it's just a little bit early for people to be showing their face and getting on screen. And I understand that it took me ages to press play on camera and record something and then upload it. It was just nightmare, but I digress. So we've had a couple of rumours of linked players over the last couple of days. First one I saw were very uninspiring, and it's a player we've been linked with before, Kevin Nisbet, Hibernian striker. No thanks. No thanks. I don't care how I ain't even looked him up, to be fair, in terms of how his recent form's been. And normally I do a little bit, but I'm not interested in Scottish Premier League strikers. I won't take Morelos from Rangers, or no thanks. I'm not interested. Hope we don't go for him, and I don't think we will. The other one, two bigger names and one particular you'll all have seen, Kyle Walker. So I would love Kyle Walker to come back to Blades. It's in a similar vein. Obviously, Kyle's a Blade, so that gives him a certain status. But it's in the same vein as people asking for like Henderson to come back. They're idealistic signings, but how much are their wages going to be? They are going to blow our budget out of the water, and you can't have Kyle Walker coming in on, and I don't know the figures, but say he signs for us for 80 grand a week, which we wouldn't pay as a club. But he signs for 80 grand a week and George Baldock's on 35. Or even Anel's on 45, whatever it might be. There's a disparity there and it causes issues potentially. Now, if we give him a bigger sign-on fee and he's on less money a week and it's a longer contract to sort of spread it over a longer period, if you like, that'd be ideal. The other question you've got to ask yourself is, that is probably the position we're most stocked at. So is it a priority signing or one that we should be pouring a lot of our budget into? I love Kyle Walker and he's a huge upgrade. He'd be the best player in the squad straight away. Let's be right. I mean, Illiman, you can argue, but the different players, different positions. Kyle Walker, England international, Premier League winner, soon to be hopefully a Champions League winner. Could play right centre-back, could play right wing-back, is still fit enough for me. Really fast, brilliant Premier League player. In Twilight Breed, come. Who do we need him, is the question. And I'm not saying we don't. I think we probably should stretch a little bit if we can. If we can get a deal that suits all parties a little bit, like I've just talked about, then it's worth considering. But I think it's harsh on, say, Bash, who might not get a kick again if it's between Anel and Walker. I know some will say flip Anel to left side and have Kyle alongside Egan, and then Anel on left, which is a little bit tasty. But also it'd be harsh on, say we want him as a right wing back, it'd be harsh on Bogle, because surely it's George that stays in, top man. And I wouldn't want George out at 11. I mean, you've got to do anything for Kyle Walker. So it's a tough gig, that one, tough ask. But for Kyle Walker, I think you make an exception if we can get him. The other questionable one, which is the third man we've been linked with, I've only seen it today, is Matt Doherty. And some of you might remember him from his time at Wolves and Tottenham. He's at Atletico now. He's 31. And I know my dad likes him. He's a good player. I really like. He's a good Premier League player, I'd say. I was surprised when he left Tottenham. He'd been injury prone. I think he's only played 12 minutes since January, but it'd be a coup for a club our size, and we've got to be realistic. It'd be a coup for a club our size to get him on a free. But he's a similar position. I think he plays predominantly more right wing back than he does right centre half, but could play either, I'm sure, because he's a big lad. It's the one position we don't need. So Matt Doherty at the moment would have to be a no from me. If Bash were out of contract or Anel gets sold, which I don't think will happen because his contract's fairly long as Anel's, then I think he'd potentially be a great signing for us. But we've got to focus budget in the areas that we'll need to strengthen. So it's a no from me on Matt Doherty. And the reason we can start talking about signing players again and getting into these sort of exciting times, not that Blades ever really sign a player, because Anel's the first player we've signed in about 3 years, but all joking aside, we are now going to hopefully have a bit of brass in his pocket, not too much, because we are Sheffield United, but we will be able to start trading again properly because the embargo's been lifted. Thanks to the keen-eyed Blades that, I think it were S2 Forum that had picked it up first, that United were no longer listed on EFL's embargo list. And then that quickly circulated amongst local journalists, and it's been confirmed. I first saw it confirmed by an official body, which were Nath Emmingham, who posted a quick article about it, saying that United were officially out of the embargo, and there were a small club statement, which I haven't seen, the club statement, but they'd usually post it on Twitter, and I haven't seen it, but he's posted that into his article. So go see that if you want to view what the club said. Basically, we'll support Eki going forward and pleased to settle the issues with the EFL. But that now puts us back on even footing, and it clearly raised questions on who's paid it. Darren Smith, very active on Twitter, non-committal, expectedly, and you can't go into too much detail when there's trusts and confidences and things like that I wouldn't expect anybody to go into. But obviously Darren's got predominantly his ear to the ground with stuff like this in terms of the Prince's side of things. Well, I've had a little update myself from the other side, and it's not major. Darren's update for those that aren't aware was that Sheffield United have paid it because it's come from the club, and that's been verified by Adam Oxley of Radio Sheffield, who says it's, to their knowledge, it's nothing to do with any takeover bid, and I've not had any confirmation from my side that that's the case. Yeah, that's not the case, if you know what I mean. That Adam's report is accurate as far as I'm aware, that the payment and the lifting of the embargo has come from either season ticket sales or progress in the cups, all that sort of stuff, and the pending Premier League promotion, hopefully. So nothing takeover related, but in terms of the takeover, the only little glimmer of info I had was it's not over yet. It's not over yet, because I know there's a lot of people thinking that the silence is not a great sign. And I'll be honest, the fact that I hadn't heard an awful lot led me to only one conclusion, really, that, if the information dries up, then it's usually that one side hasn't got any information to give because there's no progress being made. Well, I've been told today, I've had a conversation with somebody, and they've said, don't count him out just yet. So it's still very much alive, which is positive for me, because I think All parties want it to go ahead, but you now have to understand that the Prince is seen to be an owner that's stuck, and he has held tight on. He could have sold Berger, he could have sold Illiman. This isn't a criticism of the Prince. This is the Prince being a smart businessman, and he now wants to. If he lets the exclusivity run, then he can entertain bids for a Premier League club going forward. That's been disputed by other parties, including Darren saying that it's out of the Prince's hands. I've had a contradictory bit of information on that, but again, I'm not as close to the situation as Darren is from the Prince's side. So you can only take what I give you as with a pinch of salt to a degree, but I can only be honest with you in what I've heard, but it's still alive is the deal, and there's still a potential that it gets done, which is positive, and maybe it's just something to hold on to for me. So as and when I get it, I always try and deliver it to you. So that's best I can do at the moment. So attention turns to Wembley. Who's going to Wembley? I'm going to Wembley. Are you all going to be there? I'm going down at supporters coach. A lot of people have asked us how we're getting there and where we're going to be. I'll be honest with you, I don't know where we're going to end up, because supporters coach, I think it leaves the lane at 10 o'clock, is it? Something like that. So we might not be there till 2:30, 3 o'clock, and kick-off's at 4:45, innit? So, we might not have a lot of time pre-match, but it'd be great to see some of you, if any of you are around. And because I know I've conversed with almost every single one of you, which has been great. So, wherever we end up, I'll post it on Twitter or something where we are. And if any of you are around, it'd be nice to meet you face to face for the first time for some of you. So, but yeah, we're going to Wembley, and the question is, I ain't got my fancy graphic because I can't do it on here. I'm sure there's a way of doing it, but what's your team? And I think this is one of the toughest teams to pick of the season, really, because there's two ways of looking at it. First and foremost, you can see it as a free hit, which some do. Some think it's going to be a great day out, but we've absolutely no chance. And let's just go with the team that we want to put out. And others will say, give it absolutely everything you've got and put the best possible team we can put out, because promotion's almost in the bag. I'm in between. Because I've seen, going back to Darren, I know the only reason I mentioned him is because it was quite a controversial call. I thought he thinks we should leave Illiman out, like we did against Tottenham, but this is a huge occasion now. So my team that I'm going with is a bit of a blend, and you'll see why. I'm going Wes in goal, Anel, Egan and Clark as my back three. Hold on. I'm going Baldock, obviously, and Robinson as my left wing back. Now I'm going that 5 because it's defensively solid. It's the most defensively solid 5 we can put out. So that's why I'm doing that. And it's nothing against Max Lowe, but he's not a defender. I'm sorry, he's not a defender, and he sometimes loses it going forward as well. He gives us a great outlet in the Championship down that left on occasion. It's inconsistent, but 6 times out of 10 it does the job. It won't against Man City. He's not going to get the better of Kyle Walker or John Stones. It's just not going to happen. And I'm not saying Robbo will, but at least he's more solid defensively, and we retain that long throw. I'm going with Norwood in the middle because I have to, because we can't play Tommy. But Norwood hopefully plays up to the big game hype. I'm hoping it's somebody like Calvin Phillips in there for him, but we'll see. And then it's a huge toss-up for me because I think Hecky will go Fleck. I don't want him to. I love John Fleck. And those of you that think it's a free hit might think, chuck Flecky in because it's probably going to be his last big game for Blades. And if that's going to be reason, I don't mind it. But I think that's a bit of a white flag pick for me. I see a lot of sense in Koulibaly because he's a man marker, and I think he'll do more of a defensive job than my preference, which would be Andre Brooks. I won't mind Blaster in there, but he's giving him no game time, so I can't see it. I would like Andre Brooks, but I think he's slightly more attacking, and I think we need to be a bit more sensible. So I'm going to plump for Norwood and Koulibaly in middle, but I think Hecky will go with Fleck, like I say. Sander's going to go in front of them, just in front. He might even do a flat 3, which Sander isn't best at, as we know, but we've got to be solid. I'm going Illiman a little bit deeper than usual for obvious reasons. And I'm going Billy Sharp up top. I think McBurney's been slightly off the boil recently. I know he'd be an outlet for us in terms of high balls up, and we might have to clear it, and there'll be a few long balls from us. I think it won't always be pretty. But I thought Billy actually looked decent when he came on, and you've all seen what I've talked about Billy over the past half season, even 3/4 of a season. I don't think he's the same player, and I think it will be his last season with us. And I suppose this one comes down to sentiment a little bit. I would love to see Billy Sharp leading us out at Wembley. He deserves it. He's an absolute club legend. And can you imagine it's very unlikely. I've come on to this, I suppose, because obviously I've given my team now. Does anybody give us any chance? Because I don't. I've not even thought about winning this game. It's all about the experience. I saw Roy on Benjamin Bloom's show earlier on doing his predictions for week. And he rightly said, we're all treating this as a bit of a promotion party rather than an FA Cup semi-final. That's certainly my interpretation of it, because everybody's going to be down there just having a great time. But can you imagine, even if it's 3-0 City and we get a break and Kyle Walker does us a favour, or Edison comes out and brings down Ndiaye and Billy Sharp puts the ball on the penalty spot. Oh my God. Even if we lose 3-1, 4-1, it don't matter, does it? Billy Sharp gets his 250th goal and against Man City in a cup semi-final. Anyway, does anybody give us a chance? That's me. That's my real question, I suppose. So my prediction for the game will be, I think it's going to be 3-0, but I'll go 3-1 just to say that can you imagine, we're going to go balmy, aren't we, if we score, right? So that is, it's taken me nearly half an hour to get through all the stuff we've had to talk about, and I've tried not to ramble too much, but it's brilliant times to be a Blade at the moment. And to be fair, now I'm going to try, if it'll let me, go back through some of the comments. So apologies if it looks a bit dodgy on screen or it checks because you're on thing. You're on stand. But Mr. Vancouver just got the news that the transfer embargo's lifted. Such a huge sigh of relief for Hecky and his team, who can now sign new players. Whoever paid the outstanding debt, thank you. It was the club. That's what we've been told, and it's the club. Come on, it's Dozy. It's got to be Dozy. Embargo probably paid for us using Hecky's transfer funds. Yeah. All Sheffield United TV, Sheffield United fan channel, subscribe to this channel. Look, I'll be honest, I've not seen the channel, but always happy to support all the channels. All the channels have supported me as I've been coming through. So give these guys a follow, and I'll be checking you out as well, lads. That was me trying to test out posting a link to become a member if you want to do that and getting exclusive content, but it's clearly not worked out, I thought, but it's part of the journey, isn't it? Richard Gill, one of our members, thank you, pal. So does this mean the Dozy deal is a step closer? Well, hopefully that's answered your question, even though I've not got a proper update for you, Rich. Hopefully that's sort of answered your question early doors when I've touched on it. And Scott's just sort of tidied it up there as well. Thanks to you guys telling me you can hear me. Need to sort these contracts out now. Yes, I'm thinking about doing a video because obviously we've got closed season coming up, haven't we? And I've not experienced a closed season as a content creator, if you like. So I never want to just make videos for the sake of it, and I won't, because but whenever there's a subject I want to talk about, I'll just turn it on, and it's up to you whether you want to tune in and have a look at it. But I think we do need something on contracts and who we'd offer new contracts. So I'm going to do more of a deep dive into what I think the squad should, how I think the squad should be shaped, and also how I think Hecky will do it. I think there's also a video to be done on what's Hecky's top priorities now that we're going to be in Premier League. I think first one for me, a bit of a spoiler, would be no sentiment when thinking about new contracts, because you can't. I think it's got to be goodbye to Billy. Despite everything we've said, we're talking about Premier League players and Premier League survival here. Excuse me a sec. So, we've got to be serious, haven't we, if we're going to make a serious go of it. Dempsey, spot on. Thank you. There's a lot of great content out there, so any comments like that, it's really nice to hear. Fleck and McAteer, chalk and cheese players. Yes, they are. Oh, does he, Maboozy? Yes, we'll have a bit of that if it goes through. And it's an if, Rosie. We'll do it. West Brom will be tough, but we have games in hand. I think it's because there's now. It's a little bit like the Ipswich game, isn't it? It's more or less wrapped up, and a win just absolutely confirms it. Well, if anybody, I'm sure a lot of you were at Ipswich at home when we played Ipswich and beat 2-0 at Connell closing in. You've certainly all seen it. There were only ever going to be one winner of that game, and I just feel sorry for West Brom because, and to be fair, West Brom are in a good position, and if they come and they play spoiler and it don't quite work, it's got to happen at Preston, who will hopefully have nothing to play for there. But I think it'll happen against West Brom, if I'm honest. Very nervous, but last night calmed them for me. 1.5 feet in there. I'd agree, Mark, to be fair. Curtains now, you think we're up, don't you, Roddy? That's good, mate. I think we are, to be honest. I can't. We're up, no worries, says Tony Miller. Means it can't be a blade, but thank you for coming on and joining us, pal. More relaxed now, but I think it's going to be against Preston, Rich. Fair dues. Only concern is if Borough win all their games. Wow. Borough, I think we only need a point to outdo Borough, and we've got 4 games left. That's if they're perfect. Come on, Stu. Come on. Even I'm not nervous over that. Just hope we're not going to come back with a Wembley hangover. Promotion is very soon. I know what you mean, but I can't see him. I don't think we'll need any more points, if I'm honest. Surely we won't lose 4 in a row. Can't see it. Dave Vinter, free it Saturday to enjoy, and let's go get the lane bouncing on Wednesday. Promotion party starts then. Oh, can you imagine? Promotion party at Wembley and the lane. Regardless of the result against City, we don't care, do we, on Wednesday? We'll be firing on all cylinders. West Brom, the team that's got everything they need to win. They do need to win, but we're better than West Brom anyway. Regardless of fluke, and win all 3 games, which I highly doubt. We only need 2 draws, never mind 1 win. They won't score enough to make up the goal difference. I agree. We could lose. You're right, John. Like we said, we could lose all 4, and they could win both, and they might still not overtake us. Does Davis? That's if they draw with Borough. Does Davis stay in goal ahead of Wes? No, but thank you for reminding me. Wes is our number 1 keeper, and he is a better goalkeeper than Davis, in my opinion. But hats off to Adam Davis. Now, it's in there, and there's evidence to say I wasn't on the, oh my God, Davis, what a nightmare bandwagon. I won't say I was, massively confident in him, but he's not a bad goalkeeper. I'd say he's an average to good Championship goalkeeper, and certainly a good backup goalkeeper. And he's done us proud. I thought he's played well in these last couple of games. He flapped when he came on initially for Wes against Burnley for the 2nd goal. I don't think he were entirely at fault, but he didn't cover himself in glory at all. But then he's only conceded 1 in 2 games that's followed. So I think he's done really well. And he showed good anticipation. I thought yesterday there were a point where there were a through ball. He anticipated it really well against Bristol City. He were out really quickly. Excuse me. Wes will be back in goal. Yeah, I agree, Sam. Brewster needs to go. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because what we want to happen and what Eki will do, obviously, 2 can do completely different things. Because there's so many players out of contract, I think there'll be a lot of turnover anyway with those players that are out of contract. So there'll already be a lot of new people coming in. I would like to see Brewster. He's got another couple of years on his Blades contract. I would like to see him out on loan in Championship and playing every week if he can stay fit. I don't think he'll play regular in Prem if he can stay fit, but I'd like to see him that happen. I think we'll keep him in the squad in the Prem if he's fit, just because of the amount of turnover we've already got to deal with. Excuse me, I'm going to stop in a minute because I can't be coughing all over you guys, can I? Matt Capstick, think how great it will be at the lane on Wednesday to get to Wembley in the night. I know, unbelievable. It's mad to think, isn't it? Mad to think. Love to chat all things Blade on camera, getting not a clue where to start. Yeah, because that's members that can, ramblers that can come on and join us. Happily chat. Yeah, we'll get that sorted in next couple. Alan, look at our form. Stop panicking. Alan, how long you been a Blade? Come on. No way Walker would come. Pipe dream. Yeah, I can see why people think that. But he's a Blade. Would you come if you were already a millionaire? Who's paid off the embargo? Sheffield United is the party line. Al? Gaza. Nice to have the Paul Gascoigne joining us on the stream. Most of my budget would be on McAtee and Doyle. Yes, I would love that. But, well, we know you can't get 2 players from the same team on loan in the Premier League. So we can't have the same deal again. Man City, I don't think, will sell McAtee because they think really highly of him. Doyle, as much as we love Tommy Doyle, and I do, he's played very well for us in Championship, he's not a Man City player. He is, technically, but you know what I'm saying. He's not going to get... If Phil Foden can't get in City team at times, Tommy Doyle's not going to get in. I think we have a chance of buying Tommy Doyle. It's just how much he's going to cost. And I can't see why City would not want to lend us McAtee after the success he's had on loan with us. And talk about most improved player. He's been absolutely fantastic, hasn't he? Walker would come back to the lane immediately without a second thought. There you go. That's the contrasting opinion. Of course I would. No brainer. We haven't got a chance of buying Macca, but we can get the right fee for Doyle yet. Archer for sure, if possible, Rob. Yeah, I'm up for that. He'd be my top target, I've got to say. It's my club boy. As the current owner, Prince needs to break the silence. Michael, this is one of my main bugbears, and I'm loath to criticise the Prince, even though I do want Dozy to come in. I think he will be remembered as one of the better, if not the best owners when all the dust settles. And that's hard for some of us to swallow now, even though I can hardly swallow. But what he's doing at the moment with Dozy is a smart business tactic, I think, and that's my interpretation of what it is. The one thing I will say is the communication from the club is in the gutter. It's absolutely useless. I think they're very lucky to a degree that we've been so successful, because this would be a huge gripe if it weren't going well. And because there's so much unrest behind the scenes with things not being paid, and it's embarrassing, really. A club of our size being under an embargo. And look, we're Sheffield United now. We recognise how big and how small we are relatively, but we should be paying what we owe. Do we actually know how much money Dozy has put into the club, Jimmy? It's upwards of 15 million, I'm led to believe, and potentially a little bit more to come. But that's depending on circumstances. 10 a.m. outside the arena. Yes, that were it. Sorry, Gaz, you're right, mate. Train down in Green Man for 10. Bloody hell. That is commitment. Work and family makes me having to be an armchair. Listen, mate, everybody's got their own circumstances. I didn't have a season ticket for years when I was scouting. Nor did my dad. It don't make you any less Blades just because you can't always get there. I'll tell you some funny stories. I'll probably get him on to talk about it when my dad was scouting for Everton, and Phil Jagielka at number 1 target for a reason. Just put it that way. We're leaving at 9:30. Bloody hell. So are we, but we won't get there till late on. 8:30 from Mexborough for Rhodesy. Doing Box Park for a change. Done Green Man twice already. Got Nigeria flag ready. I can't decide whether to bring mine. I can't decide whether to wear my Ramble top, because it's a little bit sort of, I don't know what's the word. Self-indulgent. I don't want to be about that, but got to spread the word about the Ramble, haven't we? I'll be tempted to keep Davis in goal. I can see why. He's played well. Where's Baldock, Robbo, Egan and Ello, Bash? Yeah, I can see why people have put Bash in middle. I just think he's had no grease on wheels, has he? But to be fair, neither has Koulibaly or Brooks. Nor would eliminate McBurney. Yeah, no sentiment from Rich. Bash him in midfield, yeah, potentially. Get Jebo up top, pacing behind City's line. I've seen a few call for that. Can we play 5-5? We'll need to. We will need to. Yes, we have a chance. Oh, Michael, I love it. I daren't think about that, to be honest. It's got to be Billy leading us out. Let's hope he gets his 250. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? If we score, I'll be happy. If we win, ecstatic. Can you imagine? If we win? It's not We can't, can we? We can't. Keep a clean sheet until 60 minutes. Anything can happen. Remember Wigan 10 years ago. I do remember Wigan 10 years ago. I don't think we'll be hammered. I think we'll lose, but I don't think we'll be hammered because we never are really. It's very, very rare. Touch wood. I've said it now. We're playing best team in the world potentially, but we're a tough team to break down. And 1-3, yeah, potentially. I'd be all right with that. I'd be all right with a respectable 3-1. Wouldn't know what to do if Bill scores his 250. I'd probably break down. Good bet, Army. I do anything's possible in a cup game. So that's you believing we can do it, Rich. Billy scoring the winning goal in a penalty shootout. Oh my God, no. This could be the greatest week in our post-war. It could. It's not possible, surely. I'm getting giddy now. I don't know whether this is a good idea or not. 250th league goal, though, innit? Well, I don't know. I'm not bothered. Can you imagine Billy scoring at Wembley? It's just mental. In what will, let's be right, hopefully, I can't say that properly because it sounds awful, but it'll likely be his farewell season, won't it? This is my favourite channel. This is my favourite comment up there with Dempsey. That spot on. Thanks, Jack. If we win, it'll be a big upset. These boys have got to believe they can get something from this game, otherwise we might as well all stay at home, save ourselves a couple of £100 and just give City a bye into the final. I know what you're saying, Max, but I think we've got to be realistic, haven't we? I think the boys will believe they can win. You've got to do. But fans, thankfully, because, we wouldn't want to be going in thinking we should be winning this or we should be getting something out of it, because we've got to be realistic, haven't you? I think if it were Man U, we'd be thinking something quite different. When has it been easy to be a Blade? Biggest week in my history as a Blade, and it's bloody lovely. Pressure off us. Yeah, it's nice. Nice position to be in for a change, isn't it? Park the bus, nick it on pens. Oh, Daz, I love it. Get nowhere parking the bus against City, other than 30 shots on target in the first half. Oh, Ollie McBurney. I try to stay true to McBurney because I do like him, but he struggles for consistency, doesn't he? I think it's probably the best way to put it. Need at least 6 new starters in the Premier League with the crowd have a chance of staying up. I'd agree. I think there's a lot of change needed because it's come to the end of its cycle. This squad, hasn't it, to a degree. How about these odds? Anytime goal scorer and Dye 5-1, Berger 11-1, and 25-1. Sorry, I didn't get the last one. We're up now, I think. Yeah, Jack, a lot of people will, to be fair. 24-1 on Egan. 25-1. Borough can't catch up. No one can. We'll win 1 game or draw 3 games. We're up. I think we need to draw 2, Scott, to be fair. JLT, decent. 10-3 to get a yellow. Yeah, that's got to happen. That's got to be better the day, hasn't it? Him going up against Haaland. Wow. Goonie Hill. Open Borough draw and 1 point does it for us, I know. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Open Borough draw, we're up, Scott thinks. Not mathematically, but theoretically, yeah. I think same, to be honest. 6 points behind in 2 games left. I'll keep Bruce to send him out on loan to Rotherham. I don't know if you fancy it at Rotherham, but it'd make a man out of him, wouldn't it, I suppose. Dream the dream. It's the hope that kills you. That's what my dad brought me up saying, following United. As Jimmy says, goal poacher Archer. Yeah, we can't spend 60 plus mil of 120 to 150 mil budget on 2 players again. Completely agree with that. I think it'd be different this time. I don't think you'll see any 20 mil plus signings. I think you'll see very rare 10 mil plus signings, and I think that's the way it should be. We should be focusing on getting the absolute best team that, should the worst happen, they'll want to stay with us and go again. And lower outlays initially, maybe higher wages. We'll see. We'll talk about that in future videos. I might be stupid, but my prediction is 3-2 Sheffield Man City. I would never call dumb idiot is me 420. I would never call you stupid, pal, but I don't agree. It can't be like promotion under Wilder where we kept the majority of our championship players. This season was probably the weakest championship ever. We need a hatful of new faces. We do, that's true. If Billy ends his time here and we go up, it would be great for him. Yeah, absolutely right. Hi, Jimmy. Nice to see you back on a live stream. I can watch, listen, but can't really participate because I'm at work. Sorry for that, Mr. Vancouver. You know, appreciate the support, though. Dino back, leaving from 10 on the coach. Imagine Billy going up to lift the cup. No, I won't imagine that, Michael. Come on, what are you doing to me? So us play Hull, great day. Yeah, I were there as well. We were there. Brilliant day out. Brilliant day out. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, were we 2-1 up at half time? And my dad put a saver bet on. So he bet on Hull to beat us. So he came away even happier. Do you think Dean Henderson... I'd like to get Dean Henderson back. He completely shatters our wage structure, though. That's the thing. But... Oh, does it, my boozy? Anyway, if we beat City and they win the Champions League, it was the biggest cup set in FA Cup history. Do you think Dean Henderson can come back? I'm not sure. Definitely a Blades 1-0 win. Billy goal in 92nd minute. I've got it. Wow. If Billy scores, it'll count as his 200th league. No, it won't count as his league goal because it's in Cup. So 1-0 Blades. Illy late winner off his backside. I'll take anything. I'll take anything. I'll take a goal. I don't think we're winning, but I'll take a goal. We'll go balmy. Don't think... I'm coming to end now, which I'm sure a lot of you will be appreciative of. Don't think Wes is good enough for our squad. I think we do need a new keeper if we go up. I think that'll be a priority, to be honest. Kyle Walker back out of favourite City. Would love that. We were 2-0, are we saying? We were definitely up. But Andy the Blade were even more up, if you like. Wilder was great, but dropped a massive one, paying what he did for McBurney, Berger, and as for Mousse, right. We are wrapping up, but I've got to address this. I completely understood why he paid what he paid for McBurney. We wanted more pay, for those of you remember, but the agent, we were too stubborn on the agent fee. And we said, no, we'll take McBurney as our second choice, but he was doing really well in the Championship at the time. Just the sort of player we liked, aggressive, in your face, which is proven to be. It's just the goals that dried up, unfortunately. I can see why we signed him, because he fit in with that best of the Championship strategy where if you get relegated, he should be a really, really good Championship striker. Hasn't quite worked out that way, but he's not terrible. I certainly aren't of the opinion that some Blades are. Berger, I think he's starting to show his worth, and I think we'll make money on Berger now. I didn't at one stage, but I think he's got better and better, particularly over these last couple of months. So I don't think that were a bad signing. And Mousse, as much as he's now a huge disappointment, John, a huge disappointment. There's no getting around that. His career has plummeted. That first 6 months, he paid back his £10 million transfer fee straight away. He's one of the main, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons we had a top half finish in Premier League, because his form, when it mattered, were on point and got us to where we were, and we're a huge part of that team that was so successful. So I can't agree with those, but I'm a Wilder man, aren't I? Brewster, I can't defend. Leon says it feels so strange to go into a game day weekend and not worrying about the result. It does. It's a weird feeling. Promotion soon up the Blades. We were 2-1 up against Hull. It was the last time we played at Wembley with no pressure. That's right. So I wasn't far off. Of course, Brewster, pure disaster. Thanks, Michael and David. Thanks for the content. Let's have a party Saturday up the Blades. What a brilliant place to end. I know I've gone on longer than I probably intended to do, but thank you all for joining. Hope we all have a brilliant time at Wembley. As I say, I'll post on Twitter where I'm going to be, just in case anybody fancies, stopping by and having a pint. I don't know how much time we'll have, but let's just enjoy the day, because, and then I'm sure I'll be back on at some stage, whether it's a live or a pre-record or whatever it might be, getting ready for that unbelievable night, hopefully, at Bramall Lane, under the lights. So, come on, you Red and White Wizards. Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it. Thankfully, hopefully, it's been a more successful live than my previous one. But I really appreciate the support. Come on, you Red and White Wizards. Up the Blades.